Okay, so you're someone always pushing for the best,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like whether you're running a business, coaching athletes, or, just going for it in your own life.
It's that drive that got you here, right? That
Yeah.
desire to excel.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, this idea of constantly operating at your peak.
And not just like managing your time better, but going way deeper than that.
Right. We're talking about real performance. And for this deep dive, we're looking at a piece by Coach Ed Padalecki.
It's called Day 8, Energy Time.
Catchy title, right? And it really gets to the heart of what we're talking about.
Yeah, he offers some seriously insightful strategies for being your best self, both professionally and personally.
And what I really appreciate about Coach Padalecki's approach is that he starts from a place of reality. Like he gets that we all have bad days.
Oh, totally. He doesn't pretend like it's all about this constant state of, flawlessness.
Right. It's more about how you handle those inevitable tough times.
Yeah, he's all about navigating those less than ideal moments.
Exactly. And he has this really interesting concept he calls good, crappy days.
Okay, I like that.
So it's basically acknowledging that some days are just going to be rough, no matter how prepared you are.
It happens to everyone.
Totally. But the key is to find a way to keep moving forward, to still be productive, even when things aren't perfect.
So making the most of those crappy days.
Yeah, turning them into good, crappy days.
I see. So it's about making progress even when you're not feeling 100%.
Exactly. And I think we can all relate to that, right? Whether it's a tough decision at work, a grueling training session, or just the everyday demands of a busy career.
Those crappy days are going to come up.
For sure. And that's where Coach Padalecki's idea of championship days comes in.
Championship days.
Yeah, it's this concept of aiming for that top-level performance every single day.
Striving for excellence consistently.
Exactly. But here's the thing. He doesn't believe those high-performance days just happen by chance.
Like, you don't just wake up magically feeling amazing and ready to conquer the world.
Exactly. He says, your day doesn't start when the alarm goes off. It starts the night before.
So it's about setting yourself up for success.
Precisely. He puts a huge emphasis on your evening routine.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Well, one of his key recommendations is a digital sunset.
A digital sunset, meaning...
Basically making a conscious effort to disconnect from screens in the evening.
So like putting away your phone and laptop and all that?
Exactly. And I know it sounds simple, but there's a lot of science behind it.
Really?
Yeah, the quality of your sleep is directly tied to your cognitive function, your energy levels, your focus the next day.
So a digital sunset could actually make a big difference in your performance.
Absolutely. It's all about preparation. And, in our always-on world, it's easy to forget about that crucial time before sleep.
Right. We're so focused on what we need to do during the day that we neglect that transition period.
Exactly. And Coach Padalecki really stresses the importance of that downtime.
So how do we actually prepare for those championship days?
Well, he dives into what he calls the pillars of peak performance.
Okay, the foundation for success.
Exactly. And he also refers to them as his fundies.
Fundies.
Yeah, basically the fundamentals, the essential elements you need to focus on.
Okay, I'm listening.
So he identifies 5 key areas: how you eat, how you move, how you sleep, how you breathe, and how you choose to be present.
So those are his 5 fundies.
Exactly. And while these might seem kind of obvious individually, the power is in recognizing them as a interconnected system.
Right. They all work together to support your overall performance.
Precisely. And to really drive this point home, Coach Padalecki uses this great analogy.
Oh, I love a good analogy.
Yeah, he compares it to athletic training or any field that requires mastery.
It's like practicing a skill over and over.
Exactly. He talks about everyday drills for these fundies.
Okay, so give me an example.
Well, think about a golfer practicing their swing every day, or a musician rehearsing their scales.
It's those consistent small actions that build up to something big.
Exactly. It's that dedication to the fundamentals that lays the groundwork for exceptional performance.
So we have our fundies, our everyday drills, and now we need to actually apply them.
And that's where we get to the central theme of Coach Padalecki's message.
And that is?
Energy time.
Energy is more important than time.
Exactly. He's challenging that traditional idea that time is our most precious resource.
Which we hear all the time, right? Like, make the most of your time.
All the time.
Yeah.
But Coach Padalecki argues that maximizing your energy is actually more fundamental to achieving peak performance.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, because when you think about it, time is limited, right?
Yeah.
We all have the same 24 hours.
True.
But energy is something you can actually manage, cultivate, protect, and replenish.
So it's a more dynamic resource.
Exactly. You can have a wide open schedule, but if your energy is depleted, you're not going to get much done.
I've definitely had days like that where I had plenty of time but just couldn't focus.
Right. You can have the best time management system in the world, but if you're running on empty, it's not going to matter.
So how do we actually prioritize energy over time?
Well, Coach Padalecki introduces this concept he calls the hierarchy of mastery.
A hierarchy.
Yeah, it's basically a framework for staying consistently dialed in.
Okay, so what are the levels of this hierarchy?
So at the base level, he reiterates energy management over time management.
Okay, which we've already talked about.
Exactly. And building on that, he introduces the next level: virtue management over everything else.
Virtue management, that sounds kind of philosophical.
It does, but he defines it in a very practical way.
How so?
He says it's about mastering yourself to master your craft.
So working on your internal qualities.
Exactly. It's about developing those inner strengths that allow you to perform at your best no matter what's going on around you.
I like that.
And he gives specific examples of these virtues: wisdom, courage, discipline, and love.
Wisdom, courage, discipline, and love. Interesting combination.
Right. But he explains how each of these virtues plays a crucial role in bridging the gap between your potential and your actual performance.
So give me an example.
We'll take discipline, for instance. It's what allows you to stick to those everyday drills, even when you don't feel like it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And love. How does love fit into this?
Well, in this context, he's talking about a deep passion and commitment to your work.
That sense of purpose that drives you.
Exactly. It fuels your perseverance and resilience.
So it's not just about external strategies, it's about cultivating these internal qualities.
Precisely. And that really resonated with me.
Yeah, a powerful idea.
And what's really cool is that Coach Padalecki connects this whole concept of peak performance to a bigger purpose.
So it's not just about individual achievement.
Right. He emphasizes that when you're truly dialed in on your energy and your values, it creates a ripple effect.
So you're not just benefiting yourself, you're impacting those around you.
Exactly. You show up as a better leader, a better coach, a better teammate.
Your peak performance everyone.
Precisely. And that's a really inspiring thought.
It gives your efforts a deeper meaning.
Absolutely. And to help us put all of this into practice, Coach Padalecki gives us a direct challenge.
A call to action.
Exactly. And he breaks it down into 3 parts.
Okay, lay on me.
So the first part is to plan your championship day starting tonight.
So thinking ahead.
Exactly. He wants you to identify at least one change you can make to your evening routine to prepare for success tomorrow.
Like that digital sunset we talked about.
Exactly. It's about setting yourself up for a win.
I like it. What's the second part?
The second challenge is to master your fundies.
Okay, back to the fundamentals.
Exactly. He suggests picking just one of those 5 areas: eating, moving, sleeping, breathing, or presence.
Okay, just one.
And committing to making a small improvement in that area today, even just 1% better.
So small, consistent steps.
Exactly. It's about those incremental changes that add up over time. The third part is a reminder to focus on energy, not just time.
So it's about shifting our perspective.
Exactly. He wants us to ask ourselves, are we truly prioritizing our energy levels, or are we just trying to cram more into our schedules?
It's easy to fall into that trap.
It is. But Coach Padalecki reminds us that performance excellence isn't built tomorrow. It's built today.
So taking action in the present moment.
Precisely. And he concludes with this very powerful statement: the time is now.
There's no better time than now to start making these changes.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about Coach Padalecki's message. It's all about action.
It's about taking those practical steps to become the best version of yourself.
Exactly. So as you go about your day today and think about tomorrow, I want you to consider this. How will focusing on energy management instead of just time management change the way you approach your next championship day?
It's a powerful question. It's about recognizing that true performance excellence isn't just about doing more. It's about showing up as your most capable and effective self consistently.
Exactly. It's about being at your best so you can make the biggest impact.